Welcome back, everyone. Boy, here's a thought for you. Imagine you serve in the military. You're overseas, you're doing a tour of duty, you come back, and you're having trouble adjusting to come back. We've heard a lot about that. But suppose you were worried that when you talk to somebody that you'd sound weird, that they wouldn't understand how you felt. They wouldn't understand your challenges. They wouldn't understand what you were facing. Well, there's an organization called the Veterans Peer Connection. And joining me today is the programming coordinator, Amy Hughes. Welcome, Amy.
Thank you very much.
Very nice to have you here. Amy's been involved in this organization for about 4 years, you were telling me,
That's
right?
correct.
And it's a remarkable organization that allows veterans to connect. Because let's face it, they speak a unique language from their experience. They face a lot of the same challenges.
They do.
And they're lost a lot of times, right?
Yes.
You hate to say that, but that's really the case. So tell me how this organization works.
So we received funding from the state to start a program under the auspices of the PFC Dwyer program.
Okay.
And there are 16 counties in the state now. Originally there were 4, now there are 16 that have this funding. And what we do in our county is we interview veterans who are either looking to give back or maybe are struggling to find their footing now that they've returned home. And we try to match them up. Either they may share their time in service, they may share what service they were in, they may share where they were, or it might just be they both like to hike or they both like to bowl or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But I try to find a common starting point because every veteran knows how to talk to a veteran, but they don't always know how to talk to their family or their next door neighbor.
Right. You know, you come back from being in the field, and I mean, emotionally, the adjustment is very hard. Amy and I were talking before the interview, and we're saying, you know, a lot of the vets are handling multi-million-dollar equipment and huge responsibilities, not only in what their duties are, but in watching out for each other. And they come home, and there's a void, you know, and that void translates a lot of the times into loneliness, doesn't it?
Absolutely. They don't know how to connect with people that aren't they're battle buddies, for lack of a better word. It's an army term for, you know, the guy that you watch out on your right and your left and who you're protecting. But they don't know how to talk to other people. And very often, like you said, they are handling multi-million-dollar pieces of equipment, and they come back and they can't get a job at their local corner store.
Yeah, right.
Because they don't have the skills that are required there. They may not have the patience that's required there. They may be a little bit trigger happy, not as far as guns, but as far as their temper
reaction.
or their exactly.
Yeah, sure, of course.
And so it makes it difficult for them to find work. It makes it difficult for them to find safe places and stability in their personal lives.
So which categories do you kind of focus in on? It's housing, there's a number of things, right?
Right. Our main emphasis is to get them matched up with another veteran, someone who can be their friend, be their mentor, be their encourager, be their advocate, be their support system. Very often they have no support system. Either they have come from a difficult family life, so their family doesn't even understand, or you know, we do help with, we try to get them connected with housing, with jobs, with things that they enjoy. We also help to get them connected to any VA or healthcare benefits that they might be entitled to that they aren't even aware of.
Yes, right. And that support can take, as you were describing here, that support can take many forms. The one thing that I find that's so unique about this is the one-on-one mentoring. What is that like? What's it like when you get a phone call?
It's a little terrifying, I will admit, because you're dealing with someone's life. It's someone who is struggling, and you want to be sensitive to that, but you also don't want to downplay the fact that they're a veteran. They served our country in whatever capacity that was, and so they deserve our respect as well.
That's
so
right.
I sort of walk a very fine line between the empathy and the respect. But I then talk to them. I sit down and meet them, usually at a coffee shop, somewhere that's not threatening, that doesn't look like an office or another place where there's a stack of paperwork waiting for them. And I have a conversation with them and just say, you know, tell me what you're comfortable telling me. Tell me about your life. What's your support system like here? Where did you serve? When did you serve? Those kinds of things, just to get a feel for who they are and what they might enjoy doing. And then I go back to the office and look at the veterans who I have trained. I train every single mentor that comes into the program to see who I think might best click, at least initially.
You know, one thing that I'd like to add to that is it isn't just the younger veterans coming back, men and women, but it's Vietnam era veterans, right? And that, you know, we all hear the statistic that, you know, 20, 25 veterans a day commit suicide. Thankfully, in our own counties here, that number is much lower, but it's not the young ones, it's the Vietnam vets.
That's correct.
Right?
The older veterans, the general age, the biggest age range where suicide's occurring these days is between the ages of 50 and 65. Veterans who just, they have no family, they have, you know, they've maybe lost their job or they've recently retired, and they don't have something to keep them busy. And so then they start to think about regrets. But we have a large number of veteran mentors who are Vietnam era, who are some of my best mentors. I have fabulous mentors. I'm very blessed to have some terrific veterans in this program. My oldest veteran is 85, and
fantastic.
he's a mentor. But I do have several mentor pairs that are both Vietnam vets.
Yes.
And they have developed wonderful friendships.
You know, and that friendship, of course, then leads to a self-esteem and self-confidence.
Correct.
And things that may be taken, you know, used the word regret. And anybody lived through the Vietnam era understands what that means.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
You totally do.
Right.
Every Tuesday night, right here in Saratoga, at the Saratoga Coffee Traders.
Yes.
Correct? Tell us about that.
So we've just started this up where we're inviting any veteran to come to Saratoga Coffee Traders right on Broadway in Saratoga Springs from 6 to 8 p.m. I pay for the coffee, and it's just a way for them to come. There's no agenda, there's no meeting. It's just veterans coming, hanging out together, talking war stories, or just talking about things that are going on. There was, on this past Tuesday, there was some great sharing of some resources that I didn't even know about.
Yeah,
that,
great.
hey, look, we did this, and it's just a very casual way for veterans to come and hang out. We'd invite any veteran who can hear this to come and join us, just see what we're about.
Okay. So here, if you're a veteran, this Tuesday night at Saratoga Traders, right here on Broadway in Saratoga, come have a cup of coffee and talk to some fellow vets, and you get to have that kind of a conversation. If you are a loved one or a friend, know of somebody who might just need a little support emotionally, or access to resources to help them with any other conditions that they might be facing or whatever, doesn't have to be a big deal. You know, a lot of times these things are buried for years and years and years, and all of a sudden having a great conversation with somebody that you have a shared experience with can mean everything in the world to you.
Absolutely.
So the name of the organization is Veterans Peer Connection. And Amy, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you. I
and telling
really
us about
appreciate it.
I think you're doing a terrific
Thank you very much.
service. Okay, nice to meet you. To see this interview again, you can head to our website, looktvonline.com.